See, people talk about sacrifice. I used to tell people I sacrificed so much. I went to law school. I borrowed $100,000. All my friends were having fun. No, I didn't. I know guys that slept in their car to build their business.
Right.
They didn't sacrifice. They invested in themselves. They actually believe in themselves more than anybody else. I'm betting on myself all the time and investing in myself. Savings is an investment in self. It's allowing you to build income at an exponential accelerated rate. First, it's a self-inventory. I think too many people look outside themselves. See, if you really understand your skills, your knowledge, and your desire, then you can align it with three things. What's doing well today, what's stable today, and what you think is doing well in the future. And so I tell people all the time, let's take the time to learn where your skills, your knowledge, and your desire are. Let's go to the stock market, see what's doing well, easy to find, even easier to find what's stable. If the stock hasn't moved in the last 6 years, that's a stable industry, career, job. And then finally, let's talk about what you think is going to be doing well in the future. Once we know that, it's timing and risk tolerance, and you got to take inventory of your own timing and risk tolerance, because you'll never lose if you align what you do with your timing and risk tolerance. You may lose your money, but you'll never lose.
When you're going to a service station to get gas, you don't go out there and just start pumping. When you push the lever up, it clears the previous bill. But the same talking, if you want to begin to move, you've got to clear your mind of all the unnecessary luggage and baggage that weighing us down. All of us have experienced some tragedy. If we haven't, we will. Sometimes your life would be on a slump. However, when focusing on particular tasks for some time, you lose sight of everything else around you. You can become in the zone, dealing only with the task at hand. In these tasks, your mind can think 2 or 3 steps ahead, meaning you can see clear path to the final goal, right? So outside of distractions are easily resisted or entirely blocked. Your mind is free to see everything about the goal from many different perspectives.
Look, if you are not making mistakes, then God's made the mistake. You shouldn't be here. And the reason is we're accountable. Because we trust people. The best way you could trust people is to vet the crap out of them. Ask them the hard questions. When they say something that doesn't seem right, ask them for proof. Talk to people. This is where people are falling down today. They don't utilize the perpetual nature. They're so concerned about getting, one video popping. You can store and utilize perpetual data to help you even more than the real time. But once again, timing and risk tolerance is crucial. So many people, they'll ask me, to invest, and I'll ask them, what's the timing and risk tolerance of this deal? If they can't answer it, then I can't tell them, right? And I can't double check it and trust and vet it. So number one key is that timing and risk tolerance to invest. Then I also want to either know it really well myself or know someone that I trust that can tell me about it. So, if I'm investing in Everbowl, I don't know much about franchising, but I have so many people that could help me understand that investment that I would make. I also predetermine, this is different than most people, I predetermine investments every year. So when I go into, and I do charity as well, so I have a certain percentage that goes into conservative investments, meaning no chance of losing money. Then I have the other ones in medium, and then the last one, high risk, right? I'm a gambler, but it's a small percentage. But as long as I make a lot, it could be a lot of money in the high risk side. I've had some huge years, and then those turn into, big lottery tickets. Well, I get better at doing it as well. So I think understanding, taking your emotions out of investment by predetermining the percentage and knowing your timing and risk tolerance, and then being an expert in what you're investing in or finding an expert, those are statistically the greatest ways. I think primarily if you know you have a wave of income, you also can create other streams of income so that you have a steady flow on top of the waves. I think a lot of people cheat themselves and limit themselves when you have that much talent, that you can start looking at other opportunities that will provide you a steady $10,000 a month, plus the 50 bumps that goes on. But two, savings is really important, right? I mean, it's really not, time I call a dependent variable of all matter, subjective and objective matter. I know that's going to go over most people's head. I use time to determine how I can feel less guilty. So I might feel guilty, which is an interfering emotion. I have that problem, not just because of my religion. I literally feel guilty. I want to help everyone, but I just try to minimize the amount of time I feel guilty. Therefore, I'm going to be more productive. Same thing with savings, right? Time. How much am I going to save out of each amount of money I make? Now time becomes the dependent variable, because if you make 50 in January and 50 in June, but you save 10% of everything you make, you'll have the same exact saved as someone that made 10,000 every single month. Mm-hmm. And so when we save, that provides the ability to transcend the months. Now, I also believe in an unemotional, predetermined budget for living expenses, right? I believe we expand our money to what we think. So if I have percentages for a car, it's not what kind of car, it's just that's how much money this year I'm gonna spend 5% of my income on a car, or 0.5%, whatever you want. These all help you. And I'm telling you, especially now with an economy that's accelerating and changing so quickly, and some negative pressures as well, it's never more important to do an inventory of your expenses versus assets, right? We want to minimize the expenses and maximize assets.
Question. So you talk about saving. What should someone save? Say someone made $50,000. How much should they save of that?
So it depends on, number one, their timing and risk tolerance, two, their age, right? So if I was young, I would say probably before 18, $100 a month is fine, right? It's going to add, if you save, but if you give your kid $100 when they're born and $1,000 on each birthday, when they're 18 years old, they'll have $2 million. Your money's going to double, and that's in conservative investment, right? A no risk IUL, annuity, something that is market free of any pressure. So number one, you have to have your own percentage determined upon the investment in yourself. See, people talk about sacrifice. I used to tell people I sacrificed so much. I went to law school, I borrowed $100,000. All my friends were having fun. No, I didn't. I know guys that slept in their car to build their business. Right. They didn't sacrifice. They invested in themselves. They actually believe in themselves more than anybody else. I'm betting on myself all the time and investing in myself. Savings is an investment in self. It's allowing you to build income at an exponential, accelerated rate.
Wow.
Your view of the world really depends upon how much you respect yourself. How much love do you have for yourself? When you trust in yourself in life, you're trusting in the same wisdom that created you. When you fail to trust in yourself, when you fail to love yourself, you are automatically denying your own divinity, and therefore attracting the exact opposite of what this source is. This is a source of love. It is a source of great respect. It doesn't create anything that doesn't have a loving feeling toward, right? So if you don't have that feeling of love toward yourself, you can extend it outward for who can give away what they don't have for themselves. Who can do that?
The price that we start at, with no matter what we're doing, raising money, if you know your bottom line going into any opportunity, then you can make up your perceived value, as long as you can articulate the perceived value to exceed what you're asking for. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. So, I get paid 6 figures to speak. Do I get 6 figures all the time? No. If it's the Boy Scouts of America, but I know my bottom line. I know if I'm going to the Boy Scouts of America in Syracuse that they have to pay for my flights, my hotel, right? But I don't need $100,000. But when they ask me, how much is it to speak, David? Where I used to do the whole, it's a charity. That's dope. I'm $100,000. Why? Because I can articulate the value. And how would I articulate that in a charity? Look, if you hire me for $100,000 instead of Mike Tirico, who went to Syracuse, you're already selling the tickets. You're not bringing me on a stage to sell tickets. I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm not going to sell tickets for you. I will sell a mastermind for $25,000, those kind, but I'm not going to sell a $200 ticket for you. I'm not that big. But what will I do? If you have me speak, I will inspire those people to give money. So instead of raising $2 million at your event, you're going to raise $4 million at your event. Can you see any reason you won't want to pay me $100,000 to speak at your event? That's my perceived value. Now, if they tell you we only have a budget of 50, okay, because my bottom line was flights.
Right.
So know your bottom line first, and you're set. Be able to articulate your perceived value to exceed what you're asking for, and you will exceed. I've had so many times where I've said 100 grand, and they've said yes.
Right.
This is an emotional thing. You want to make sure that you're doing what's important to you. Know what you want personally, experientially, giving and receiving, who you can help and who can help you, and then how best to get that done, and then prioritize by what's important to you. You have to put your money into the flow. And so if you want to make more money, you got to give more money. If you want to give more money, you got to receive more money. So I think for my own abundant philosophy of a value add world, the minute you live in this zero-sum game of giving and receiving, trading and negotiating, people do it all the time, you're creating resistance. I live in ease and flow, right? I know I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. I'm constantly trying to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it. So I think the number one reason that brands, entrepreneurs should have charitable purposes or causes tied to everything is because you'll receive more and give more. It's a flow of abundance. You live in a value add world. When you ask people for help, not only are you adding value to that person, but mentally you become a better investment of theirs. People, they literally buy on emotion for logical reasons. And so if you're authentic in your giving and receiving, people are going to want to purchase or give to you so you can give to others. And they get a benefit of getting, an extra pair of shoes or, whatever else it is. Giving and receiving are so amazing. Let me explain why it works with branding. When you give, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins are released. When you receive, same thing happens. But why it's so big in branding is that those people who witness it, the same effect. So giving and receiving are the most viral of all viruses. And so when you witness it, you're actually helping your brand because you're elevating the frequency of your brand because people are getting an actual biochemical hit by witnessing the purchase and sale and giving that's done. That's why I will guarantee one thing economically, that tomorrow it'll be more expensive to build your brand and community.
Right.
And the next day it'll be more expensive to build. It'll be harder, not just more expensive, it'll be more difficult. So if your intent of marketing and branding is to build a community that builds a community, there's nothing more. People don't remember what I say in my speech. I talk fast. I got a lot of highly complex things that I've studied in physics, metaphysics, and quantum physics, but I know they remember how they feel. And once again, people don't articulate quantitative value. There's two things that I teach people to do that change my life and theirs when we talk about this empowerment. One, practice getting people to call you back. 90-some% of people never call you back. If I can get, instead of 1 out of 10 to call you back, teach you to get 2 out of 10, I've doubled your sales.
Boom.
And given you more practice, which eventually will triple your sales. But the more important one than even getting people to call you back is to practice articulating quantitative value. Articulating, that means to tell the story. Because why? So many entrepreneurs, so many people in events, they just assume that you love what they have as much as you do, and you know as much about it that you do. And so they assume that you see the value. And then they wonder why you won't do it. It's obvious. It's perfect for them. Yeah, because you haven't been able to articulate the quantitative value to exceed what you're asking for. So what do we look at? 1, you have control of your mindset. You give meaning to everything you see. You give meaning to past inflection points, defining moments, historical references. I've seen people interfere with their future because of the Holocaust that their grandparents were in. Why are you doing it? Give it the meaning to inspire you towards your future, like Viktor Frankl. You give meaning, mindset. 2, you have control of how you feel. And all these things are intention. Do, say, think, believe, and feel. Finally, you have control of your handset. Too many people are extra milers. They go the extra mile every once in a while, and then when they're not where they want to be, they justify why they're not where they're at because they went the extra mile 6 days ago. It stayed up till 2 a.m.
Right.
I'm an empty miler. I go the extra mile every day. every day. And that's what you got to do. Mindset, heart set, hand set. You have control of it. You don't care about what's going on out there, because I have complete control of everything in my future with my mindset, heart set, and hand set.
Wow.
You believe for big dreams. You know the path for the righteous get brighter and brighter. You are a person of excellence. You do the right things when no one is looking. You could have compromised it to get ahead. Nobody would know. But you live by a higher standard. That's the kind of people God rewards. Compromisers are all around. You see them every day. That's common. But God is looking for uncommon people, people that don't lower the standard. He's looking for people that go against the grain, that believe when it seems impossible, uncommon commitment, and uncommon attitude. When you make this decision, do not fit in, but to be uncommon, then you will see uncommon favor, uncommon breakthroughs, uncommon victories. Any goal that you want to achieve that's worthwhile in your life requires all in effort, right? So if you have this burning desire inside of